Watch us live stream at twitch.tv/Inez27. Live stream times are Tuesdays and Thursdays at 7 p.m. Central Time. Follow us on Twitter at SeemsGoodMagic. And please support my eBay store by going to SeemsGoodMagic.com, clicking on the icon, and purchasing some playsets and singles. Thanks, and enjoy the video. Hey folks, Alex from SeemsGoodMagic.com here for another 8-4 M14 Draft. The rare we have opened is Witch Stalker. Haven't gotten a chance to play with this card yet, but I imagine it's pretty good. Efficient, gets bigger, hexproof. Feel pretty good about first picking it. Let's take a look at what else is in here. Not really passing too much else that's wonderful. Shiv's Embrace is quite good. Advocate of the Beast is good. Child of Night is pretty playable. Trained Condor, Altar's Reap. Hatchling mostly in mono red, but beyond there still a little bit playable. And a couple of the weaker sliver cards. But yep, I'll pretty happily snatch up a Witch Stalker and see what direction this takes us. Alright, well, Siphon Sliver. People have talked to me quite a bit about this card and how I've been undervaluing it. I may be more interested in just taking the Advocate only because not only does it keep us on green, but Advocate is a very good green card. There's also Banisher Priest in here, which is one of the stronger white cards. I'm not sure if I want to immediately commit to a double white and have a double green spell. I mean, plenty of good cards in here beyond that. Warden, Siphon Sliver, Banisher Priest, Scroll Thief, Sentinel Sliver, all pretty playable. I'm thinking just take the Advocate to stay on green, because I do feel that Witch Stalker is quite a strong spell. Is it more powerful than Banisher Priest? I guess that's up for debate. I'm not exactly sure. And green-white is playable. I really don't like grabbing a double green into a double white spell. It may just be the best pick, but I'm going to stay on track with Advocate of the Beast for now, just because there's a lot of good beasts in many colors, and a 2/3 body is quite good. Okay, well, I mean, Marauding Maulhorn is indeed a beast, but Trollhide looks quite good right now simply because of the Advocate. Let's see what else is in here that's worth something or worth playing. Liturgy of Blood's quite good. Like I said, Marauding Maulhorn. Into the Wild is probably playable, just not that great. Glade Cover Scout is fine if I have more Trollhides. Naturalize, I'd probably always nice to have for the sideboard. I'm not opposed to the Trollhide here. That does feel quite strong in the Witch Stalker. So, otherwise it's Liturgy, which is good. But, I don't know. I'm just... Third pick. I think, let's wait a little bit longer. Let me just wait a little bit longer to see what else is open before I make a decision on the second color I want to go into. Okay, so really no super relevant green picks in here. Plummet is playable, but now I feel pretty comfortable taking the best card. We could take Divination, because green-blue, I've played against that. It's pretty good. We could take the Corpse Hauler, black, green, although we did just pass the Liturgy. I guess nothing in this pack is remarkably good. I'm trying to think where the most beasts are besides green. I guess red, but there's no relevant red pick in here either. So really, I guess it's Corpse Hauler or Divination. Corpse Hauler is quite good. I guess I'll take the Corpse Hauler. It's a 2-drop, so we'll just take it for now and see if black is actually open or not. Alright, well there is Death Gaze Cockatrice in here, but alternatively there's Hunt the Weak, which is one of the better green removal spells. One of the few. So I think we're going to take Hunt the Weak. There's also Spore Mound, and like I said, the Death Gaze Cockatrice that are good in here. Some pretty decent blue cards in Illusionary Armor, Cancel, Sensory. They're all pretty playable. And Act of Treason, also good. Especially in the black-white or black-red sacrifice deck. So interesting there, but let's take the Hunt the Weak. Very strong removal. Okay, Now we have Giant Growth, which not a ton of green removal, like I said, so having efficient combat tricks is always nice. Master of Diversion is quite good. Burning Earth is good in constructed, not so good in limited. I think it's pretty clearly the Giant Growth here, although Master is good. Okay, now I've got some more options. Red card in Regathan Firecat, which is pretty playable. I think we're probably just going to take the Brindleboar because it's also playable, and hopefully we wheel that previous Plummet we passed. Plummet's always nice to have, and it is main deckable. It's just I'd prefer to not have to main deck it. So Ring Flesh, Regathan Firecat, Lava Axe, all decent, but let's take the Boar. Stay on green when we can, otherwise start looking for what else is available. So we have seen some pretty good white cards passed. It may be time to start taking tricks in those colors. I think I'd probably rather have the Sentinel rather than the Show, especially with a Troll Hide at the moment. So why don't we just take the Griffin Sentinel. Okay, so now we have Verdant Haven, which I think is the pick. Otherwise, Angelic Wall is playable. Hive Stirring's not so amazing, but it's okay. And Dragon Hatchling, same sort of thing. Unless you're in mono red, it's not that great. But Verdant Haven will take it. There's not much mana fixing, so we'll try that out. All right, pretty good sign that a 2-drop white creature wheeled. So I feel pretty good about taking that here. Continuing down this path. All right, we'll take the Glade Cover Scout now. Cut green. Get another hexproof creature. Okay, we can take the Hawk, maybe begin to cut white here. Auramancer looks like it might be more useful with the Troll Hide, and if we get any more auras. Brave the Elements worked out pretty well when I played mono white, but I don't think it's that great beyond that. I'm going to cut this, not because I'm going to play it, but just to signal a little. It's not much of a signal, but since it is having to do with white spells, maybe that's a signal to somebody. I don't really know. It's not so much. It's not nearly as much as like straight up passing a blue or black card instead of taking the land over the last card. I do sort of like that technique to tell whoever's next to you that you're not in those colors. Okay, on to pack 2. Very, very good options at our disposal here. Imposing Sovereign, deceptively good. That card actually panned out pretty well for me. I don't think it's the pick, however. We do already have a Sentinel Sliver, so I guess I'm okay with Predatory Sliver. Colonian Tusker is much better, but I mean, Predatory Sliver has much. It's early enough where maybe we could pick up a second one, and I'm not opposed to an easier to cast Bear that does have synergy with the Sliver we already have. Maybe we'll get some more slivers. Hunt the Weak is, like I said, green removal, which is very strong. But I kind of am feeling getting 2 drops at the moment, especially in the form of Predatory Sliver, which is, like I said, quite good with white slivers or other green slivers. I mean, Tusker is amazing if I end up mono green. And you know how I feel about monocolor, but I don't know. We were kind of getting some significant late white cards, which leads me to believe it could be open. And I'm not going to be sad about playing Predatory Sliver. Like I said, I mean, at the very worst, it's a Grizzly Bear, right? Okay, so now I'm pretty comfortable taking the Giant Spider. Plenty of playable cards in here beyond that. Liturgy, Young Pyromancer, Goblin Diplomats, all good. Divine Favor I'd probably play. But Giant Spider is just a very, very good card, buying you time to get to the late game, lets you build up. Significant threat, very good with Hunt the Weak. A lot of upsides to Giant Spider. Good protection. Not as good as Deadly Recluse, but that is okay. All right, second Predatory Sliver looks like it's probably in order. Let me look what else is in here, though. Brindleboar, Blur and Battle Sliver, Nightmare, Fortify, Shimmering Grotto, which I've yet to play. Yeah, we're just going to snatch up the Predatory Sliver. We're actually in pretty good colors for slivers, since there's also the 3-drop 2/3 one that boosts toughness, and we have the Sentinel sliver already, and there is Hive Stirrings, which becomes a lot more playable when you have multiple predatory slivers, so this appears to be a good route to go down. Okay, now we can take the second Hunt the Week. I'll pretty happily do that. We already have a pretty good amount of creatures that work well with it. The nice thing about Hunt the Week over Prey Upon is it works pretty well with any creature you control, as long as your creature has like 2 toughness. Any 2/2 you have immediately becomes a pretty good Hunt the Week fighter. So, yep, also passing Show of Valor, and not too much else that's significant for us. Okay, well, there's a Shock in here, which is interesting, but there's also Divine Favor, Fortify. People have become a lot less impressed with Fortify recently. It looks like it still could be pretty good in our deck if we end up getting some more cheap creatures, so I think I'm going to take the Fortify over the Divine Favor. Divine Favor typically would work well with Oromancer, but I mean, Divine Favor also works well with hexproof creatures, I suppose, so it does work reasonably well with Witchstalker and Gladecover Scout, but I'm never like super happy playing Divine Favor. I mean, it's very good in some matchups. I guess I'm never really happy playing Fortify either, so I guess we can take Divine Favor. Try it out. I guess I haven't really given it a fair shake in this format yet. Well, here's Angelic Accord, but need to gain 4 life to get full value. People have been telling me I'm just not playing this card enough, but I think it's difficult to play. I think people might be thinking it's a little bit easier to activate than it is, because it is very easily a do-nothing 4-mana enchantment. I think here we're going to take the second Giant Growth. Ranger's Guile is quite good, but I think Giant Growth is just superior. Okay, so now we have Gladecover Scout, but I think the Hive Stirrings is actually in order now that we have 2 predatory slivers. Let's hide this Corpse Hauler. So doing a green-white strategy, I think that's acceptable, yeah. Okay. Now, Celestial Flare, definitely more difficult to play in the current setup we have, but we're not super color intensive yet, so I guess I'm okay with just grabbing a removal spell. I am okay with that. Wall of Swords is pretty playable too, but we look like we are a little more fatty oriented at this point. It'd be nice to get some beasts since I took the Advocate so early, but I don't think I regret that pick. So Awaken the Ancients, also very, very strong spell. Very strong spell, but we're going to take Celestial Flare. All right, awesome. Amazingly, the Imposing Sovereign tabled, so pretty happily take another 2-drop. Also one that works quite well when you're ahead on the board and they are in desperate need of defenders. So pretty happily snatch up the Imposing Sovereign. Could take a second Gladecover Scout. I think I'm a little more interested in the Accorder Shield. This card is actually pretty playable. It works well with reach creatures. Definitely works well if we were to pick up a Deadly Recluse or something along those lines. Even protection, so you can still swing in with your predatory sliver, seems pretty good. We'll give it a try. All right, got the Brindleboar. Take a second one. Be nice to get Voracious Worm since those two work so well together. All right, we can take a Soulmender here. I guess it's not likely I'm playing it, but I don't really need the Elite Arcanist. He's not worth that much. This seems like it could be pretty good against us, potentially, so take that. 24 cards currently. What's my first cut? Probably Soulmender or the Suntail Hawk, but Hawk looks a little bit better with the double Giant Growth. Yeah, we'll take the Ox. It's playable. What else is a cut in here, potentially? Maybe the Divine Favor or the Accorder Shield. I guess Divine Favor maybe is a little more playable, depending. So this is 23, and we're moving into pack 3. I guess Verdant Haven probably can get the axe right now, since we're already a low mana curve. But let's do this one card at a time. All right, good pack for us. Enlarge is a very, very good win condition. especially when you factor it on hexproof creatures, so I think we're going to snatch that one up. There's also Elvish Mystic in here, which is very good. No doubt, I do like Elvish Mystic. He looks a little bit underwhelming in here since we don't have too many crazy creatures crazy fatties to ramp into, which is another reason to take the Enlarge. It's just another way, very solid in-game win condition. So, yep, pretty happily take that. It's this set's Overrun. Celestial Flare also in here, Hive Stirrings, and Elvish Mystic, like I said. But, yeah, Enlarge it is. All right, now we have... I think I want another fatty. I do have to sort of think about this. I do like Deadly Recluse a lot. But Rumbling Baloth, we're... Not that we're necessarily short on win conditions, because I don't believe that we are. It's just I would like some more fatties in here. We're in green, so fatties are a very important part. Rumbling Baloth is one of the better ones. Also has interaction, very, very good interaction with Advocate of the Beast. Let's cut this Verdant Haven. So, yeah, also Hunt the Weak and another Celestial Flare in here. No possible chance of getting that Deadly Recluse, but I don't think that we were likely getting the Baloth back either. Okay, now I believe we are just going to take a second Griffin Sentinel. We can also take Plummet. Another Siphon Sliver in here. But I'm actually okay with... Well, what would I cut, I guess? That's the question. Probably the Hawk or the Divine Favor. Even though I guess Divine Favor is pretty okay on Griffin Sentinel. We can probably cut Divine Favor for the Griffin Sentinel. I guess we already have to start cutting. So maybe we cut Auramancer then. Yeah, I guess I'm okay with that. Let's take the Sentinel and cut the Auramancer. Okay. Well, got our third Predatory Sliver. That's a good sign. So, going to snatch that up over the Master of Diversion and over the Mana Weft Sliver, both of which are good. But yeah, you really can't complain about getting a third Predatory Sliver. Show of Valor, Charging Griffin is actually another good legitimate win condition, and one that I would easily play over the Pillarfield Ox. I guess we can already cut that. And what would be the next cut? Maybe the Suntail Hawk. So let's go for a little bit more of a fatty plan. Yeah, Charging Griffin is a pretty solid place to go. Can take a second Charging Griffin. I mean, we're getting a little bit heavy on the 4-drops, but I think that's probably okay. Like, we don't need Glade Cover Scout in here. We already have plenty of good 2-drop, 3-drop stuff going on. So, a second Trollhide might be the pick. I guess we have the Witch Stalker. We already have 15 creatures. You know how I am. You know how I feel about auras in general. Unless you have enough hexproof to support it, or the aura is a, like, Quag Sickness, you know, negative effect to your opponents. I'm not huge on it. Trollhide is kind of an exception in some cases because I do feel that it's... I think I'm actually going to go with Trollhide in this deck because of the double Griffin Sentinel. I do actually feel like that's pretty strong. Easily taking Celestial Flare here over the Show of Valor. I mean, it is more color intensive, but we're not... I mean, we're starting to get a little bit color intensive, but it's not out of the realm of playability here at all, by any means. We can also start cutting Brindle Boars soon here. So let's take the Flare, and maybe let's first cut the Glade Cover. I mean, I guess we take Ground Shaker Sliver, but I don't think that we're playing it. Even with triple Predatory Sliver, getting to 7 mana seems a little bit out of the realm of likely happening consistently. All right, definitely taking the second Hive Stirrings here, since triple Predatory I think lends itself quite well to that. So I think what we're going to do is take that and then cut the Brindle Boars. And we've got pretty good interaction at that point. Take the Bramble Crush for the sideboard for the random Jace or some other Planeswalker I can't deal with. This guy, I have yet to play him, but I think he actually is playable, so I think we're going to take him. I guess we don't really have that much space for him, so he's unnecessary. Fortify looks a lot better in here now with the double Hive Stirrings. Oh, we're actually getting short. Oh, Hive Stirrings count as creatures, so it's the creature count we currently have is a wee bit deceptive. All right, did get the Show of Valor around. We've got some definite decision making to do here. Oh, that's pretty cool. Got a relevant 2-drop. Third to last, or was it second to last? Now I forget. We'll figure it out. Second to last. All right. Yeah, this definitely can be made into something good. I just got to take a close look and figure out what is the priority, what is not the priority. So the sliver plan, just in terms of nice, efficient 2-drop creatures, pretty happy with that. Would have been nice to get maybe one more is that Vent Sliver? Wait, no, Sentinel Sliver. I'm thinking of Vent Sentinel for some reason. So it would have been nice to get one more of those, but I can't complain about getting triple Predatory Sliver. That's quite good, especially with double Hive Stirrings starting to get a pretty good, that's a good chance for an excellent turn progression. Let's put in the Flares for now. I do want to play them. They're pretty hard removal, although color intensive. Let's put in the Knight, Sovereign, Sentinels, Charging Griffin, Large Baloth, Hunts, Spider. Okay. So this is 24. I do believe we want to do 17 lands, although our curve is, I guess, relatively low, but we are actually kind of color intensive, which I think means we have to go 17 lands. At least we're not color intensive until turn 3. I mean, I guess you could argue Flare you'd like to have on turn 2, but it's not the end of the world if you don't have access to this on turn 2. And another reason why I think this card is actually good in this deck is we have good blockers in here in the form of the Sentinels with the Troll Hides and stuff and Spiders. So I feel like there's going to be times where the opponent maybe only has one creature that they can get through with. So I'll like Celestial Flare a lot more in that situation. I do feel like since we're right at 15 creatures with the Hive Stirrings, I'm a little more willing, I guess, to cut a spell, a non-creature spell. So I like the Giant Growths quite a bit with the Hunt the Weak. I still like the Troll Hides quite a bit with the Witch Stalker and with the Double Griffin Sentinel. I feel like that's very strong. Even, I mean, any of these other guys too. 15 creatures if you count the 2 Hive Stirrings. Okay, so let's cut one of our spells. I guess because the Celestial Flare is actually a little bit color intensive, I'm a little more prone to cut that from the main deck over the Giant Growth. Giant Growth's just a little bit cheaper, and like I said, interacts a little bit better with the Hunt the Weak. Makes sense. Interacts better with the Witch Stalkers since they can't 2-for-1 you. Yeah, this deck looks good. This deck looks pretty solid. Good game plan. Good ways to win. A wee bit color intensive in green, but really, I think it's not the worst mana base I've ever seen. Pretty good curve. Quite a few 2 and 3 drops. Good cheap tricks to use. Hard removal in the form of Flares and Hunt the Weaks. Didn't get any pacifisms, but that's okay. In large, very good place to top out at. Yeah, I think this deck could definitely win. So we're definitely running more green, but I think it's actually relatively close. I want white to trigger or to activate his ability. I want double white to do Flare occasionally. 10-7. I think actually I think I'm going to do the 10-7. I think I was a little more willing to do that too. We do want white on turn 2, but green is definitely the priority. We have quite a bit. I mean we have significantly more green spells than white spells, so I guess 10-7 is a pretty acceptable split with me. All right. So overall, I'd probably evaluate this deck at maybe, because of the triple Predatory Sliver, relevant rare, decent amount of removal for color, I guess I'd rate it about maybe a 7.5, something around there, 7.5, 8. I like it around that a range. I feel like that's significantly strong. All right. I'll see you guys round 1.